Hello everybody. Let's just address really quick. My hair is dirty. My mascara is smudged. I need to shower. And it's also like 8 p.m. And this is on a Friday. I usually post on Saturdays. This is a Friday because I have a lot going on tomorrow. I've been busy. It's been spring break. And I've been busy all week with like different birthdays and activities and plans and just like fun, of course, on me, but also really busy and just a little chaotic. So I'm a mess right now. I know. But also, that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to talk about Jesus, okay? So we're not gonna pay attention to everything else going on. The time of the day, the way that I look and need to shower, and also the day, because I usually film on Saturdays. Anyway, I want to talk about the things that I've learned while being 16. Next month is my birthday and I turned 17. I actually turned 16 on YouTube. And in honor of me turning 17 next month, I'm gonna say about like 5 things that I've learned while being 16 that God has taught me. I say the first thing that I was taught was his voice. And I heard it for the first time that I knew it was him, like the first time that I really like recognized. There was this decision I had to make, and I asked God about it, and I prayed and I prayed and I prayed, and I was like, I don't know, because I don't want to do this, but also I just kind of feel it in here that I'm supposed to. I just feel yes in here, but also I don't know. And so I was like, Mom, like, can you pray for me? Like, can you pray that he reveals what I'm supposed to do? And so she's like, yeah, I will. And so, little backstory, if you haven't watched my testimony video, I'll also put it right there. It's on my other channel. I say that, okay, these videos are posted on 2 channels. So this is my main channel. This is the channel that's for these videos. Anyway, yeah, on my main channel, this is my testimony video. And I describe the first time ever hearing his voice before like I knew him as a whisper. So he whispered to me before like I knew him, before I was like following him. I just heard a little whisper and I knew, actually I didn't know, but I heard a little whisper of telling me like, hey, Jesus will heal you. That's pretty cool. I like that. But yeah, so he whispered Jesus will heal you, and I describe it as a whisper, and I have always described it as a whisper. So fast forward to after I asked my mom to pray for me, you know, I still just feel this yes, and I forget about his whispering, how he whispered to me before. And so she comes into my room and she says, she says, I just hear him say that he has always whispered to you and he's going to continue to whisper to you. And I was like, oh, okay. So, ouch, I just pinched myself. Yeah, so she says that and I'm like, okay, yeah, so that's what that is. That's a whisper that I'm hearing is a whisper of yes, do that thing, do the decision, do it. And so I was like, okay, that's, wow, okay. And so now I know how to hear his voice and what that sounds like for me specifically, because it's how he chose to speak to me. And I think that he will speak to everybody individually and personally. Like I said before, on how he chooses to respond to you based on like who you are as a person. So like for me, I receive love by, you know, gentleness, and so he chooses to whisper to talk to me, and I think that's so sweet. I think that's so precious. But anyway, so I learned, you know, when it's me, like my own thoughts, because I know that that's like a big question. It's like, how do I hear him and not my own thoughts? But the best way that I can describe it from my experience is just, it's in here, not in here. I just know it in here, what he's saying. And that's not like, it's so much easier said than done for some things. But I think my best advice for that would just be to continue praying over and over again, and, you know, keep seeking him, and you will find it. So yeah, when I have like decisions that I need to make, or I need his answer or his thoughts on something, then I will pray about it first, and I have to listen. That's a big thing too, because a lot of times people think that God isn't responding to you, but it's just because people aren't listening. They're not waiting for his answer. They're so caught up in talking about it and getting what they need to say out, and they don't wait to listen. So that's a big thing also, is just giving time to listen and really sitting and listening for him, just waiting for him. I think that he values that a lot, I think. And so that's a big thing too, is listening and really being quiet and searching for it, searching for his heart and for his thoughts, and just seeking his ways. And yeah, I think I learned how to hear his voice. And I think that that's also another thing that's very, you know, personal, and it's not going to be the same for everyone, I don't think. You know, he reveals himself and speaks in different ways. Like, that wasn't always how he spoke to me before. Like, that was recently how he started, when I was like 15, I think. But before that, he used to speak to me through his word. Not that he doesn't anymore, but he chooses to speak in different ways. And he spoke to me in dreams. Yeah, so dreams, I got a lot of dreams. He spoke to me in dreams, he spoke to me in his word, and now he speaks to me by little whispers. And so, you know, not that he doesn't anymore, he still does, but like I said, it's just different for everybody. So seek it out, go find out for yourself. It's fun to find out, and it's fun to walk and to search. But yeah, I think that's one, is hearing his voice. And then number 2 is kind of along, was it? I don't know. I just know I talk about things, and I don't know when I talked about it, but it goes along with my story about that guilt story that I have about, you know, this one thing that was happening in the summer, and I was really guilty, and just, yeah. So that would be the fact that he already knows, because I can remember I really just wanted to hide. I wanted to run, and I wanted to hide, and I didn't want to talk to him, because I was like, you must hate me right now. I don't want to talk because I don't want to disappoint you. And like he was just like, Ava, like, I already know. Like, I already knew. He's like, I already know. I already knew what you were gonna do before you did. I already know what's going through your heart and your mind. I already know, and that's why I died for you. And yeah, I think that was a big thing for me too, is being a perfectionist when it comes to this, because I really love him and I really care, and I don't want to disappoint him. But he's not disappointed, because he already knew that I was going to do it anyway. And that's the point, you know. Like, if you think about it, he sees, you know, we're all sinners, we all fail. And so you know, he sees way before you were even alive, and was like, yeah, this person's probably gonna do this and this, and gonna say that and gonna do that, but I love them so much that I'm gonna die to cover all of the things that they ever did and never will do. And so I think that was like, yeah, obviously I knew that, but when it came down to like, do I know that? Do I understand that? Do I accept that? Because it wasn't just okay, you died for me and now I'm gonna be perfect, but you died for me and it's a continuous thing, and you forgave me over and over again. So he already knows what's going in my heart, in my mind, and my thoughts. So I had to learn that and be okay with that, to know, okay, you already know, and you already love me, you choose to love me, you choose to stay committed to me, and you're not mad, and you died for me. So why am I hiding? Why am I running? You know, you already know. And so I don't have to feel guilty, and I don't have to feel ashamed, and I don't have to run from you. In fact, I'm supposed to run to you, because that's the only way that anything will ever get fixed, if I made a big mess. And then that kind of ties into number 3, which is vulnerability. That's a little hard for me to be vulnerable. I don't like it. I don't like to cry in front of people, and I don't like to talk about how I feel, and I don't like to be vulnerable. I don't like it. But there's this thing going on, and this was buried deep in here, okay? There was some deep hurts, some deep roots from childhood, and I was like, God, like, I can't let you in there, sorry. I am blocking all doors off to everyone ever to get into this part of my heart, and I don't want anyone near it. And he was like, yeah, but this is affecting you now. Like, this happened forever ago, and it's still affecting you now, and it's seeping into other parts of your life, and this is bad, and I love you so much that I want to fix it for you. And all I heard was, I want to deal with it. And I was like, no. But the thing is, like I said earlier, sometimes you're so focused on the thing itself or getting it out that we don't listen. And so what he was trying to tell me was that I don't have to do it by myself, that he never asked me to do it by myself. But all I heard was, we're gonna deal with it, and I didn't want to deal with it. I would have much rather kept it hidden. But so how that ties into the other one is that he already knows. He already knew what happened, and he knew the way that I felt then and the way that I feel about it now. He knew the way I thought about it then, the way I thought about it now. He knows all of it, everything, even things that I don't even know about, he knows. And so that's what I just kept feeling him tell me. It's just like, you don't have to do it, let me do it. And I already know, like, you don't have to hide it, I already know. And I was just like, yeah, I don't know about that though. Like, this is really deep and this is vulnerable for me, and I don't like being vulnerable. But in that, you know, it's quite the process to go through, and I had to seek out a lot of guidance and a lot of prayers and a lot of tears. But when I let go of me holding on to it, when I let go and I was like, okay, you know what, this is still hurting me to this day, and it's seeping out into my life, and I don't want it to do that anymore. I don't want it to affect me anymore. I don't want it to be part of me anymore. I give it to you. Please handle it. I can't do it. It hurts too much for me to do it. You handle it. And he did. And he just reminded me that, like, the things that are so big for me are not big at all for him. And he could do that. I mean, they're not big for him to handle. They're important to him, of course, because he cares about me, but they're not too big or too much for him to handle. So when I gave up holding on to it so tight, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna be vulnerable, and I'm gonna tell you about it, and I'm gonna give it to you, and I'm gonna surrender it at your feet, and I'm gonna trust you with it. Oh, that's hard, okay? That's hard, I know. But I'm gonna trust you with it because I know you love me and you've showed up for me in other ways for the smallest things. So if you care so much about the little things that don't even matter, how much more could you care about the things that are really hurting me? And you know, if you care enough to whisper to me, how much more gentle will you be with my heart and the things that are deep down in there, you know? And so I just kind of felt him telling me that, and so I had to learn how to be vulnerable, and that was a little hard for me. Still working on it, but you know, it's all still a learning process. I'm never gonna be perfect at any of the things that I've learned so far. It's just now I know how to navigate it a little bit. So yeah, I learned how to be vulnerable. That's a hard one. And then number 4 seeps into that also, which is his love. I heard him for the first time tell me personally he loved me at 16. That was a moment. Yeah, I was being prayed over, and there was just all of these things that were so exact that I hadn't told anybody about. But I heard him tell me he loved me that night. Okay, we had to switch spots because my family has live downstairs. Anyway, I don't know what I was gonna say. Not only did I hear him tell me that he loved me for the first time, but I also had him show up in all the little ways, because there's these little things that just are so him, you know, because he just cares. So I learned that too is just his love, and that what's important to me is also important to him, and that he cares more than I do about things. So yeah, his love was a pretty big one that I learned. And my last and 5th one is anxiety. So also, if you didn't know, I had really bad anxiety when I was like 13, and it's healed. It just isn't as bad as it was before, and so I haven't had any of that, and I haven't experienced that since Jesus, since I gave my life to him. I haven't experienced that, so that's pretty cool. But you know, it still creeps up on me sometimes, and so he taught me how to handle that when it does creep up on me. And so I want to tell you a little bit how I handle that, because sometimes I can be a little anxious. I can be a little anxious girl. So what I do is as first and foremost is I pray and I tell him about it. And so I just tell him everything I'm thinking, everything that I'm feeling, everything going through my mind, And doing that eventually gets the root of the fear out that I'm really truly anxious and scared about. And so when that's out and I know, okay, this is what I'm truly nervous about, this is what I'm scared, this is what I don't want to happen, and I go, okay, God, I don't want this to happen. You take it. I trust you. I love you. And I know you love me and I know you care. So you take that, you deal with that. Thank you, and I love you and I thank you. And then I go and I mind my business and I surrender at his feet, so I don't try my best not to think about it. I try my best not to sit in it and work myself up about it. And I focus on my breathing a lot, try to calm myself down. And because, like I said, he cares more about things than I care, and he cares about things more than I care about them. You know, I know he'll work it out, and I know that he knows every possible outcome. He takes everything that I feel and think into consideration. And so I know and I have trust in him that he loves and he cares about me, and that he cares about what I'm scared about and cares what I have anxiety about. And I trust that he will work that out. And so that's like so much easier said than done, because obviously I will be 17 next month and I have really bad anxiety at 13. So that took me a while to learn, okay? It took me a little bit to learn how to do that. But yeah, I mean, it's hard. Anxiety is a hard thing to learn how to navigate, but everything that I've learned comes from him and what he's taught me and he's showed me and spoke to me. And so I think that's really cool, because most people, you know, have their testimony for later on in life, and obviously it's beautiful. Every testimony is beautiful, and you know, all glory to God for each and every one of their testimonies. But for mine specifically, I value very much the things that he's given me, the things that he's blessed me with, the things that he's taught me, and the knowledge that he's given me, and the wisdom. All of that, I feel so grateful and blessed that he's given me that at 16. Oh, okay, thanks. And I love that, and I thank him for that. I really do, because I think it's beautiful, and I can't wait to know all the other things that he's going to teach me along my life if I was taught this just at 16. So yeah, that's today's love letter about 5 things that God has taught me at 16. Maybe I'll do one for when I'm 17 and about to turn 18. But yeah, that's my little love letter episode today. I hope that it spoke to you. I don't really know, I'm just giving a little testimony here about the things that I was taught. So I hope that it spoke to you, and I hope that, you know, maybe you learned something, maybe, I don't know. That's for you and God to find out. But yeah, thanks for coming around this long and for listening to me speak. And I will see you guys next Saturday. And I hope you all had a great spring break. Love you. Bye.